First thing you notice is the flash. The flash of silver when the school turns as one, like a single creature with 1,000 heartbeats, swirling and veering in the plankton-rich currents where oceans meet. As we descended, adrenaline infused our euphoria, fear. I stood helpless and enclosed with my cage mates, a professor from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and 2 of his MBA students. We didn't know where or when it would appear. As they scanned left, right, and below, I fixed my gaze at 2 o'clock, on the gloom beyond the school. Abruptly, the school vanished. And in its void, a deeper gloom materialized. Unhurried, almost leisurely, she appeared. I withdrew my hands from the cage bars and held them to my sides. I stared. At 17 feet, she was gargantuan. The size and bulk of an SUV, she angled towards us with casual sweeps of her massive caudal fin. As she approached closely, I detected what no film or image had ever revealed to me. Her eyes were not black. Her eyes were slate gray, with discrete, lighter pupils. Those pupils. If it weren't for the caution she commanded, I could have actually touched her. The great white sharks of Hansby, South Africa, are known the world over for their regular appearance in the chill waters off the Western Cape. I had come to observe them, to study them firsthand, while the schools returned, coalesced, and swirled in what's known as predator confusion effect. This is when prey species band together to move as a single larger creature to confuse and discourage potential predators. Now, given this effect, it's actually possible to detect the arrival of a predator, not by its appearance, but by the activity preceding its advance. Think of it as nature's early warning system. And in time, as I could discern the appearance of these giants, fascination displaced fear. Well, the schools banked, dispersed, and then this. There are many compelling reasons to strive to extend our senses, to give us every advantage of perception in this incredibly competitive world of ours. Yet I can think of few more compelling reasons than a lunging, biting great white shark. Now, if you're thinking this is about sharks, you're only part of the story. You see, while that encounter taught me much about sharks, it taught me far more about us humans. And it's this contextual understanding that opens a window on the wild world. We didn't speak of it, yet we all sensed it. A hypervigilance which drew our attention to the acacia trees at the far limit of our vision. And while I was engrossed in searching for animal sign from black rhino tracks to tiny dung beetles along the way, I couldn't shake the gripping sensation that we were being targeted by something. Now, this wasn't a nagging feeling I could simply dismiss. This was new, unnerving, and certain. I've been charged by grizzlies. That's overt, in-your-face aggression, the kind of experience that puts you on high alert. This was different. In the oddly intense quiet which descended upon the bush, we felt watched, studied. There was good reason. They're known as the Pride of 8. 8 full-grown African lions who patrol the vicinity of the Sabi River. That day, while we tracked elephant and searched for buffalo spoor along the river, the Pride of 8 tracked us. It was in that moment of adrenaline-stoked clarity I realized 2 things. That deep beneath the shallow surface of our senses lie the nearly limitless capabilities of the animals in our midst. And that by tapping into this uncanny animal detection, we can wield life-saving advantage. Yet animals aren't the only teachers out there. When I was just 6, my dad taught me to explore the limits of my night vision. Knowing my curiosity and my love of animals, he posed a question. He said, "How would you like to see in the dark like a cat?" I nodded with wide eyes. What 6-year-old wouldn't? He knelt down and he shared his secret. He said, "When you're looking for something at night, don't look directly towards it. Look around it. Look past it." Over the years, I'd come to realize that by gazing skyward, or at the periphery of an object, those 240 million tiny receptors along the edges of my retinas, known as rods, would begin to pick up the ambient light. And then, something amazing would happen. The outline of the object would begin to appear in the center of my field of view. Fast forward 10 years, when my dad's teaching me how to drive at night. Brave man, my dad. He gave me brilliant yet simple advice. He said, "Don't look for the lights of an approaching vehicle on the road. Look for them on the trees, in the distance, before the vehicle crests the hill or rounds the bend." In essence, by focusing on the elements around me, he taught me to see what had been unseen. Oftentimes, it's advance. And once again, this notion of contextual understanding whispered in my ear. That's the boot of one of my fellow brown bear researchers. It's a size 12, and it's dwarfed to scale to that brown bear track from our study area. I love this image, because if there was ever any doubt, it proclaims loudly, quite literally, that nature is far greater than us. And it's through this lens of humility that we can see farther, clearly. As a person of science, I need to see proof. In fact, I demand it. I needed to know if what I sensed in the waters off the Cape of Good Hope or in the bush border in Kruger was real or imagined. Yet every time doubt threatened to eclipse my unshakable sensation, the animals confirmed what I had perceived. And the vigilant curiosity that inspired me then inspires me right now to explore. This journey brings me to the crossroads of proof and wonder. For while it's true that science demands proof, scientific advancement is born of wonder. What I learned in the chill waters off Hansby was far greater than any shark. That white shark taught me something invaluable. Eyes enable us to look. Knowledge enables us to see. And while I didn't fully realize it at the time, what that shark, my dad, and that bear were teaching me are the lessons nature can teach all of us